That's fine. Probably. Alright. Now time to calg scrap together the link. Hello, Valor. Oh, shit. It's the wrong fucking title. Here, let me fix that. Fix. Beardangle. I know I missed something. And then this live now. Weekly DMs engagement stream. Beardangle. There we go. And then Biz, and then that krill calc bimspenge weekly stream if y'all want in the chat. And then fucking where's live? There's live. Hello, Valor. And one more share. There. Now I can get going. Switching to live chat. Ham. Ham, bor, gur. All right. So, wait for a few people to get in here. Then I can get started. I feel like the next time I make this with ham, I should take advantage of the fact that there's like a lot of fucking fat on this ham. And I should boil the fuck out of the ham first, so that the fat becomes part of the sauce. Like that would make a richer sauce. Then also, this week there's a lot. There's a lot because I haven't been on the ball, and I need to get much more on schedule, especially if I'm going to get what I want later this year. So, I got to earn it. Valor has something funny. Yesterday he saw a person on Twitter who said they're pro-Russia, pro-Putin, anti-LGBTQ, pro-Trump, and guess this, they claim to be Orthodox Christian. Yeah, that's amusing. Because you can't be all of those, for sure. Like, Trump is anti-Christian. Somebody's gonna have to remind me where in the Bible it said that you could grab him by the pussy. And Putin certainly isn't Christian. Especially since he's pulling the same shit that Zelensky does and, like, silencing churches which disagree with him. Like, you can't really do that and be a Christian. So, I'm just waiting for anyone to get in here. Valor says, I heard Ukrainian Orthodoxy is getting banned. It's less that it's getting banned, and it's more that all the churches have already been banned. Like, Zelensky shut down any church that didn't agree with him right away. That's the reason I know that Zelensky and Putin aren't that much different, and the reason I support neither of them. I'm not one of these people who's just going to pick a side because I don't like the prevailing one. Like, both sides suck. For real. Like, all of these sides. Especially since, if you ask me, this is very manufactured conflict. Let me take care of something real quick. Yeah, that's what I need to know. For real. Where is everyone? We got 2 likes, but only one person's actually in the chat. 3 viewers, according to the concurrent viewer thing, but nobody talking but you. Well, hello to the 3 viewers anyway. The silent viewers in the background. But yeah, this week has been sort of hectic in a variety of ways. Hello, Jack. He says, I'm here now, didn't get a chance to read Running Man yet. It's not like it's, a homework assignment you'll be graded. I just hope that, that people do. Because it's very much prescient on what we're getting here. Valor says, my friend Avery said she likes your beard and hair and says you seem good at debate. Ah, good to hear. What debate did she watch? Or he. I actually don't know. Oh yeah, she. You said she already. Yeah, which debate did she watch? I'm curious. I got 5 concurrent viewers now. Jack says, I got to 95 so far. Oh, well, so you've already seen part of what I'm talking about. Like, you already know, like, the reality TV setup. The fact that everything is seen through the lens of reality TV. and how it's all fucking just one big reality TV show where everyone is pitted against each other. Because that's like a huge foundation for me. That's like a huge foundation for me. Ever since I've been in high school and I read that book, I was like, this is it. This is actually just what is happening now. And it was already happening then. Like, and that's one of the reasons that I hate the fact that people aren't reading this book. And it's also one of the reasons that, you know, it's never going to be mandatory reading in schools. You know, it's never going to be part of a college course, even though it's fucking better than most of the dystopian fiction you'll read. Like, solid. Just rock solid. Jack says, yes, hard yes. Valor says, IDK, she just said she watched some of your streams. I'd have to ask her, but she may be coming. I sent this to her. Well, hello to her if she shows up. Oh, fuck. I just got done with my workout. I did a whole lot of forearm stuff today, so my fucking forearms got the vascularity. Hello, Jester. First time at the stream. Jester is like fresh off some Dan stuff, realizing that Dan has been using a bunch of people this whole time. So Jack says it probably teaches people to think too much. Yeah, see, so, okay. When you get the Running Man book, you get this environment. Wait. Hex? I don't see Hex. Did Hex send a message? Because I don't see Hex in the chat. I'm in live chat. Oh. Yeah, well, I guess we both sent the link to the same person then. I sent that in a group message we're in. Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah, Jester is an artist from Twitter. I do recommend following, though. She does good work. And may or may not be drawing something up for little old me. Jack said, so the thing about the Running Man, everything is a reality show. It wasn't just like in the, you know, the terrible movie non-adaptation that just like took the name and like game show and then just ran with that. In the movie, like, the guy's a veteran and he disobeyed orders, and that's why he was forced into the reality show. In the book, he's a father trying to care for his dying daughter and, you know, get a better life for his wife. That's so much more interesting. And not only is it so much more interesting that way, but it also tells a completely different story. Because it's not just something that you do for punishment. It's something you do because in order to participate in the economy, as it were, you have to become a cog in its machine to be publicly abused. That's fucking on point. That's fucking on point, yo. And it's something that everybody should read. The Running Man by Stephen King. Because it's like literally everything that this is. You know, you either work your hamster wheel job and hope that that pays you enough to not have a terrible existence, or you join part of the like the artificial reality and help keep the serfs in line by letting them laugh at your abuse for a while. You know? It's fucking prescient. Stephen King knew exactly what the fuck was up. Valor says Hex also has Jester in their name. Ah, well, follow Jester Kitty, though. Lots of good art. Jack says, I wish I could draw. Instead, I was blessed with stunning good looks, wit, and charm. Yeah, well, I need to draw. But unfortunately, and I don't know how this happened, but my drawing tablet cracked. I guess it's like hard to see, but like basically this area, there's a small crack in it, and it bent along this back spine. And so now when I try to press on certain parts of it, it just jitters up. And so this is basically unusable, and I've had it for years. So I, have the tablet is broken, but I still have like this mouse, which is a reasonably good quality mouse. So I can still do some graphics, and I cracked out a $20 gig yesterday. But really, like, I need $1,000 within the next like week for several things. And if I can earn this like I'm hoping to be able to, like there's some work that I've got lined up, then I'll be getting an actual graphics tablet with a screen instead of just one of these ones where you got like sort of like trackpad around the thing and like use your coordination. Jester says to draw you must sell your soul to Satan. Well, fortunately, I was already born of that. So, that's it. You're talking to somebody who's totally evil. But yeah, fucking the Running Man book, to me, epitomizes sort of social critique that, like, stands the test of time, because it's more like the Running Man than fucking ever. So you're Shadow instead of Sonic. None of the Sonic characters are really me. That's one of the great things about it, is that you don't have to be any of the characters in order to, fit within the thing. Just taking care of something real quick here. Yeah, down to 4 concurrent viewers, but hello, 4 concurrent viewers. But yeah, once you get to a certain point in the book, have you gotten to where he has dropped off the first tape, the first reel that he has to like record and drop off to prove that that he like is still alive and out there? Because if you have, then you know what I mean by like the deep faking. And you know why I'm saying that's so terrifying, knowing what I know from that. Because, like, when I saw some of this technology working the way it does, yeah. No. Like, everything in my brain was like, nope, no, this isn't fine. Valor says no spoilers. Yeah, no, this isn't a spoiler. I'm avoiding spoils entirely. Mike Judge put Crocs in Idiocracy because they thought they were stupid and nobody would wear them. I mean oh, this is an interesting thing. It's not in the chat, but it's in my server, so I might as well bring it up. Minty asks, why do some anarchists take pride in taking drugs? Like, yeah, the war on drugs is a massive failure, but there's nothing cool about being a drug addict. Yeah, exactly. And I'll repeat it, just like I always fucking say. It's always amusing to me when Marxists quote Marx as saying, religion is the opium of the people. And, what else is opium? Opium. Maybe if you're gonna be anarchist, you should be clear-headed enough that you can, like, actually be effective. What a shock. Hello, Rescind. I was just speaking out against drug abuse. Jester said, I once knew someone who romanticized drug addiction. We don't hang out much anymore. Yeah, Good choice. Because holy fucking shit, is it annoying to hear people like, oh yeah, you want to fucking destroy your body and enslave your mind? No, I don't. There was a point in my life where drugs and booze made life in a place I hated more tolerable. I don't need that anymore. I'm in a better place. Jack says drug use is softcore rebellion, also escapism. Well, it's rebellion to the surface. It's not rebellion to deeper authority figures who want you to be crippled and incapable of action. You know? Those who want you in chains are totally fine with you being stuck in a fucking couch waiting for the heroin to wear off. You can't fight back in either case. And at least in the chains, without like the drugs, you can be clean and sober enough that you can like plan your escape. If they keep you drugged up, you might even forget you're in chains because you feel good enough. Keep you on a slow heroin drip and you'll forget you're like manacled to the wall. Hello, Kant. Rasin says, drug addiction is a scourge. Slavery is exactly right. Yep. Valor says, my cousin suffers from severe drug addiction. Sorry to hear that. I hope he actually gets something to do with his life that's fulfilling enough that he doesn't feel the need to do that anymore. Because that's what it always is. That's what it always boils down to. A lack of community, a lack of connection, a lack of positive reinforcement for other actions. Not good. Jack says, heroin is the escapism, meth is the rebellion. Meth is prescribed by Big Pharma. I'm not sure that's true. I don't think either are rebellion. I think both of them are like extreme forms of the same shit that you get from the system. They would rather you get high and be incapable of doing any like real damage to them than, you know, have that clear, sober like mind that they can't throw in jail for drugs. You know, the prison industrial complex is the modern day plantation, at least domestically, because the global south is the new plantation in general. So if they can get you on drugs and they can use that as an excuse to force you into the system, all the better for them. They love that shit. Drugs are their way of keeping a lot of people in chains who otherwise wouldn't be. Valor says, he lives with my pastor uncle and aunt in their garage. And Jester hopes he gets better. Valor says he's gotten help, but he always relapses. Rasin says, how old is he? And Valor says he's like in his 30s. Yeah. 30s is a time when addiction really peaks because people realize what their life is going to be like, and they're not willing to actually put in the work to change it. So they instead just get high and escape from the life they've created for themselves. Rasin says he'll lose decades of his life. Yes, he will. And Jack says they'd rather you have a vice they can control, be it drugs or other. Oh, speaking of vices they can control, if you like what you're hearing, throw me some dopamine by a like and a sub if you haven't already. Valor says his brain is absolutely fried. He's been addicted to heroin and meth for years. Then it sounds like a time for him to rebuild his brain. My guess is he doesn't eat very well either. Just a guess. Yeah, like there's yeah, he's skinny. There's not going to be a whole lot of meat on the bones of somebody who prioritizes drug use, because as long as they can get high, they feel fine. You know, so they don't have that dopamine response. They don't feel like, hey, I need to eat. The cocaine makes them forget. The meth makes them forget. The heroin makes them forget. And so they just keep forgetting, going further down the spiral and losing the actual mechanical and chemical strength to give a fuck. It's very sad. Like, why would you pack on the calories if you're not getting gains because you're so constantly strung out? Getting strung out will turn you into a string bean quick. Not good. Not good at all. Valor asks that those who pray please pray for them, for him. But yeah, actually, since I have enough people here, I'm going to read some comments. Because I hashtag might as well. And it's been a bit. So, see about this. For those of you new here, these weekly engagement streams let me talk to my audience, and they also let me interface with the comments in a very personal and live way, where people can actually see how I'm reacting to it. Looks like there's some that I haven't responded to from 2 months ago as well. Jack says on UFOs, Chinese spy balloons, and propaganda. Oh no. Vlog 169. Remember when they made everyone panic for toilet paper over the flu? For being as smart as you are, you're missing so much. Fear works, exploit it, make them afraid to go to all 5 of their houses. I'm not going to recommend using fear against the elites on a YouTube stream. I am, however, going to say that giving people flowers is nice. Valor on Hair Middle says great. So I guess that's a thumb and a heart. Jack says look into WHH before he was president, basically stole Indiana. Will do. He also says voting should be based on IQ. Voting should not be based on IQ. Nothing should be based on IQ. That's effectively eugenics, especially given the fact that IQ tests are usually based on pattern recognition that can be taught to people, and people who take those tests then get a score based on their understanding of pattern recognition, which means that people who had less access to high quality education will have lower IQs, not necessarily because of who they are, but because of their circumstances. And it's not actually a marker of their intelligence, it's a marker of whether or not they learned what the system wanted them to, and what would have been taught to somebody in a richer, more well-to-do neighborhood. Jester says, weren't there educational requirements used once for voting, and it was used to suppress minority voters? Yes. And not just once, quite a few times. Yeah, I feel like I covered that before. Maybe it's responding, you need to click the button, but I've clicked the button on some of these that say I haven't responded. I think YouTube is just weird right now or something. On Sour, we've got cool hedgehog, nice animal, so that and hope you well, also accidental link. I'm not sure what any of these mean, but thumb and a heart. Well, I mean, the last one anyway. Aiden Magill says this is cut and dried on Daniel Perry murdered Garrett Foster, vlog 175. It's clear he was there with intent to kill. Yeah, it's very clear. And anybody who says that it's like some ambiguous bullshit, they didn't read his phone scrape, and they should read Daniel Perry's phone scrape. Like, it's fucking available. It's something that people should read because it, like, gives insight into the kind of person that ends up killing somebody. It wasn't just some fluke. It wasn't just some random bullshit. It was fucking intentional. He came there to do it, and then he did it. Cold Highway on the same video says, the right loves gun control, given their support for the drug war, which is backdoor gun control. Quote, oh, well, he had drugs. He had drugs. Take his guns. End quote. Ross Perot campaigned on doing exactly that. Go into neighborhoods, look for guns, and arrest them. It's also why right-wingers get triggered by groups such as Firearm Policy Coalition because they don't cuck to cops and have RTMSM articles talk about minority gun ownership. Yeah, well, also, like, the NRA was specifically designed for that in a variety of ways. They suppressed the Black Panthers. They suppressed a variety of black liberation movements in general. And, like, fucking Mike Bloomberg, like, he gets to pretend to be progressive now because he supports Democrats. But everybody who gives a shit remembered when he spoke to a bunch of rich fucks and said, you can just throw them against the wall. You can Xerox a description of black and brown people, poor in these poor neighborhoods, and you can throw them against a wall. And I wonder why those neighborhoods are poor. It couldn't at all be because any amount of prosperity is immediately crushed, right? Couldn't it all be because the drug war has kept a lot of these people in prison and down and profiled, right? Nah, couldn't be. Mike Bloomberg is a piece of shit. He's a massive fascist. Jack Curtis says, I don't mind depressing voters. It's part of the gamble they take, right? As long as the election appears to be transparent and free, do what you want. In 4 years, they ask you to do it again. I don't support voting anyway. So, but if voting is there, if it does in fact work, then it shouldn't be based on IQ. You can't have it both ways. Either voting doesn't work and therefore do whatever you want with it, or voting does work and that's why stupid people shouldn't do it. Yeah, it's one or the other. It's not both. Mr. Knight on the same video said that Kyle Rittenhouse said on Tucker shows Daniel was getting surrounded and saw Garrett with an AK-47. The fact that Daniel said, I was not going to allow him to take aim at me, that's basically self-incrimination. Yes, it is. It's self-incrimination. It's Daniel saying, you know what? I saw a gun. I didn't want it to be pointed at me, so I shot him before he could. That means he never pointed the gun at him. And this was directly just preemptive shooting. By that same bullshit standard, all these copsuckers who support, Daniel Perry, all these, like, blue liner motherfuckers who support Daniel Perry and, like, the anti-BLM stuff, those people, by that same standard, have to admit that a cop approaching your car with a gun means it's okay, means it's green light. And they won't do that. They'll say you keep your hands on the wheel and you do what you're told. And maybe he'll give you your favorite flavor of boot polish if you're a good little boy. It's fucking pathetic. It's rules for certain people and not for certain others. Selective enforcement, double standards, garbage. All to reinforce the fascist notions that, only certain people should be allowed to own guns and only for certain purposes. Mr. Knight continues by saying some angles show that Garrett was in low ready position. He wasn't really a threat until he raised his rifle, which he was never able to do for obvious reasons. Yeah. And it's like the only angles that we have show like the entire thing right up to and until, and he never pointed his rifle. Daniel said he never pointed his rifle. The video shows that he never pointed his rifle. And now we're supposed to, like, just say that he did because it makes it convenient for copsuckers to suck? No. Nope. Not gonna happen. Side note, when you said, quote, when the Austin Chronicle chronicled, it reminded me of Windingoon says, if I don't kill the mood, no one will. I think that was in the Paradise Regained video. I don't know who that is. So, I mean, yes or no, depending on whether or not that's the case. But thumb and a heart either way for the rest of it. Jester says, I had an acquaintance who was obsessed with Kyle Rittenhouse. She would always talk about politics during our lunch. See, here's the thing. I don't like Kyle. He is a blue liner too. He supports, the police and their tyranny, and he supports, like, casual gun control to begin with, since he's one of those follow the law and you won't get hurt kinds of people. But I don't care that he got the wife beater and the pedophile shot. I don't care that those people are dead. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. And you shouldn't run up on somebody with a gun while there might be some gun sounds in the air. And that's exactly what happened. Like, there were gun sounds. Kyle thought he was being shot at, and so he wheeled around and blew the pedophile's brains out. Probably not the brains, but I'm saying that just to be amusing. And then Huber was hitting him with a skateboard. That you don't hit somebody in the head with a skateboard and not be guilty of trying lethal force. It doesn't work. Concussions and brain trauma aren't something to fuck with. And he knew that. And he knew that he was potentially causing permanent damage or killing Kyle, and he wanted to. So, I don't care. There's one less wife beater, one less pedophile, and Kyle tried to turn himself in even. I don't like Kyle. I think Kyle's a piece of shit, but he was also a kid. So I can't blame him too much for that either. He's a product of his upbringing and his surroundings and the culture there. I believe in peaceful parenting, and that involves understanding that kids aren't under their own control. So I have to understand that. And I have to say that Kyle isn't the root of the problems with Kyle. I still don't have to like him. I still don't have to agree with him. And I still don't have to support Huber or Rosenbaum for any reason. Much less this. Fucking garbage. Anyway. Jester's like, one less pedo in the world is a blessing, TBH. Yep. And from my anarchist perspective, it makes it a whole lot easier. Valor says, I love Wendigoon. I don't know who that is, so. Jack says, voting does work. If numbers are what you're after, sway the stupid. They oppress the intelligent by sheer numbers. Voting doesn't work. The elites are going to get who they want anyway. Valor says, my family is Republican. What are the beliefs of a Republican? I don't know a lot about politics. I mean, it depends on whether or not they're real Republicans. From what you've told me about, they're pretty much dyed-in-the-wool conservative, like, tell me what to believe types. So, I don't think they have any hard and fast beliefs. I think that if fucking Matt Walsh told them to think something, they would slob that up, from what it sounds like. Valor on microphone, Four Eyes is, and Money won the election. A bunch of comments. Super fun when I was here, wow, and also some others. Thumb and a heart on those. Porch Eye. That was Vlogstream 46. Jack says, I smoke weed 24/7, and I still want to hand people flowers 24/7. So that one was like 2 weeks ago. But like that doesn't mean that the weed is helping with that. My whole point with that in saying what I said was that the elites want you high. The elites want you suppressed. The weed will dull your senses and make your reaction time slower. It's just the case. Jack says, exactly, they get what they want by keeping their friends voted in by stupid peep. No, they get what they want because it doesn't matter what people think. It's not a game that they can lose. They're not going to say, hey, yeah, enough, our whole bloody empire, our whole bloody brutal empire that we've built for millennia, our old money, our banksters, our, global elites, the massive conspiracies that intertwine with one another and cause constant fucking problems for the common person. How we constantly enslave people, how we're heavily connected with and intertwined with pedophiles and, murderers and the poisoners of the land. Well, gosh darn it, fuck. They done wrote enough down on paper or peopled around in a computer enough. Gosh darn it. By the rules, we gotta walk away and give it up. It's not gonna happen. It doesn't happen. It won't happen, Jack. So voting is bullshit. It's a way to keep people focused on electoral politics and politics in general, rather than building up enough substantial strength that they can just fight these people. Jack says it's not a game they can lose because they ensure it no matter what. That's why Biden won, isn't it? Yeah, but that means that it's not voting that means anything. It means you can't just blame stupid people for the way things are. It doesn't work. The system is the evil here. There are stupid people, but it's not fucking, exclusively stupid people that are causing these problems. It's the fact that people are, supporting the evil system as it does what it wants no matter what people ask. So, but Thumb and a Heart on Tolstoy was a solid recommendation on the same stream. Agreed, Jack. Jack says without gamblers, casinos wouldn't exist. Yeah, but the games are rigged. And the fact that they occasionally let somebody win does not mean that the casino itself isn't rigged. It doesn't mean that the house won't win enough to maintain its shit. And it doesn't mean that they won't throw people who do realize that everything is rigged and who try to operate within the parameters of that rigging in order to make big bank, in order to break the system, out of the fucking casino, man. They know everything is designed by these elites to help them no matter what happens. So no, it's not stupid people. Racine says another way to put it, both sides are controlled by the same beast. The house always wins. Yes, exactly. I have my window open. I heard a weird scratching noise. It was a cat climbing the fence. Cats around here like me. It's now looking at me through the window. Racine says that's why they can afford the big casinos. 100%. On Porch Eye. Valor says good job. He also wrote Bible verses, looks like. Let the hearts of the great be rewarded and the hearts of a monster be condemned by the righteous hand of God. Prove yourself worthy of great importance. Prove yourself to be a light in the world of darkness. May the mistakes that have been done be redeemed. Well, it's another addiction jester who said she doesn't understand gamblers. It's just another addiction. It's a way to get dopamine. You see the lights on the slot machine. You see the lights in the casino. You get surrounded by people constantly handing you free booze and free food. You go in there and you get a free toaster or a free like baking pan with loyalty rewards program. You go in there and you know these people by name, and it's a thing to do on the weekend. It's a way to be social but alone while you coddle your normal addictions. You know, it's just a way to like enable all the vices at once. It's a giant vice enablement machine. That's what gambling is. I hope that I hope that explains it. Jack says, I still think it's stupid people. They outbreed the intelligent too. I think you need to watch some videos that I can send you. Because I think that, like, you're thinking way too Malthusian. And that it's interfering with your ability to see as much of the state as you could. Rasin says, all you need to know is that it's a fool's game, and you will lose in the end. And she also says, we're the stupid people, Jack. Yeah, because that's literally what they see us as. They see us as the unwashed masses, and that's why they call themselves the Illuminati. Because they see. They are at the top of the pyramid as the all-seeing eye. They are those who have the illumination to see behind the darkness that they created. That's what it is. You know? On they're using fentanyl to scare you into war, vlog 176. Valor says, may we not be scared by the horrid sayings. Kant says, I think that symbolism is more to represent God. I think they fancy themselves gods. I don't think they give a fuck about what any god thinks if that god interferes with their power. I think their symbolism is just so that they can hide their stuff in plain sight under the veneer of some sort of religious practice, while still running the biggest gangs and cults on the planet for millennia. Kant says it's the all-seeing eye of God, and within the triangle pyramid representing the tripartite nature of God. It's basically a very Christian symbol. I don't think so. Like, and the Illuminati certainly don't believe that. They believe that they are the ones with the illumination at the top. That's the reason there's glow markers coming off of the all-seeing eye pyramid. Psycho Faya on they're using fentanyl to scare you into war says the country is in a predicament and it's getting harder to hide it from the people. It's falling apart internally while also having problems externally. Agreed. Yeah, 100%. And they need to keep us scared of some foreign influence or some drug in order to keep us like, oh, yes, that's why we need to bomb Mexico. It's not because we need a new source of copper, lithium, cobalt, and all these other things for our computer components now that it appears China's going away from us. No, it's because we need to stop fentanyl. Kant says Illuminati, at least the traditional Bavarian Illuminati, were either the more deist or atheist sect, though they prefer the owl as a symbol, if I remember. They do. But that doesn't mean that this isn't one of their symbols. They prefer eyes in general, because the eye symbolizes that you've indeed become one of the ones who has the knowledge. A deist is somebody who believes in a god, but isn't very specific. Rasin says modern Christianity comes from the Catholic Church, which is at its base a melding of paganism and Christ following. See Constantine. Yep. Illuminati worship Lucifer, the god of wisdom. Kant says that is not what deism is, lol. Well, I mean, you're welcome to tell me. But it's pretty much that as far as I knew. I mean, yeah, but I'm speaking to very simple deism. I'm being as general as possible. They were a type of deist, but that's what deism is. Jack says it's also believed there's a missing capstone that was made of a special metal or crystal that would illuminate the Great Pyramid. I mean, okay. To me, like, for my money, I just think this is all symbolism they used to jack off in private about how powerful they are. You know, they're very happy that we don't understand the symbolism as well as they do, even if we do. Because the vast majority of people won't ask why all this, like, openly occultic symbolism is on the same dollar bill that says, "In God we trust," and why "In God we trust" is on a dollar bill at all when God said that it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. You know, just saying. Kant says deism is moral philosophy in regard to there being a creator God who, after doing a creation, removed themselves, went away into seclusion, and let the earth be. It would relate more to an Aristotelian idea of God, at least in the idea of the unmoved mover. I mean, okay, but, like, in general, that's why I was keeping it general, because, like, deism is simply the idea that there is a God, but he's not concerned with our affairs, if I understand correctly. Like, he just shot us here and then left. Racine says we only know of their symbolism because they revealed it, aka the revelation of the method and hierarchy. Yeah. Jack says the Pharaoh were of European descent. Rich men haven't learned to spend their money on their community. This is why they won't ascend. Maybe. Or, you know, because they're trying to ascend by going into escape pods. That's why Elon Musk wants to fund space rocket shuttle bullshit. But to get back to comments over here. Valor says on the fentanyl video, who else is to determine failure and success other than ourselves? Racine says, good thought, and you may be onto something. They've definitely been trying to get us into a war for ages. It's ridiculous to ban a plant, opium, or any substance for that matter. Now it's easier to be approved for assisted suicide than it is to get pain relief. My husband has suffered chronic severe pain for years, well over a decade. Just as they promote certain drugs, LSD, cocaine, crack, fentanyl, when our government wants to get rid of a drug, they can. Quaaludes is a good example. Thumb and a heart on that one. Because that whole video is about how they're using it. They're using fentanyl in order to keep us on the track. Like, oh yeah, don't pay attention to the fact that George Floyd had somebody kneeling on a sensitive part of his brain for a while. Don't pay attention to the fact that kneeling on the neck is what caused the actual death and not a fentanyl overdose. Blame fentanyl. Then we won't have to worry about police brutality. Blame fentanyl. Then we won't have to worry about foreign policy leading to a war with our neighbors. Blame fentanyl, and we can institute mineral extraction policies so that we can domestically build computer chips with a constant and very local source of raw materials. You know? Blame fentanyl. On the same video, Racine says, Viva smart meters and the Internet of Things. Yep. That's exactly it. And they need it for that, too. Like, they really, for their desired goals, they need a certain amount of these minerals. Because otherwise they can't build the chips necessary and the devices necessary to monitor us all in the new paradigm for the mark of the beast. You know, they need a certain amount of raw materials, and if China isn't going to provide them because China's like bricksing it up, then the US has to find a different source, and why not attack South America, especially with the B of bricks, you know? There's a lot of minerals down there that the US could liberate from communism. Even though that's bullshit, of course. Jester says people just want an excuse to keep being racist. That's exactly true. Valor is considering being an Orthodox missionary. Well, I wish you well on that. Jack says Elon needs to start another colony because humans have filled this universe 25. I hope Elon loses everything. He's a technocrat piece of shit. Of course, the housemate had to fucking slam the door. He's a technocrat piece of shit. The fact that he has any fans in libertarian circles, yeah, no. He gets money from the state for a reason, and it's because he helps them with their goals. Without, like, without, like, a certain amount of these minerals, he won't be able to do it. So he supports the conflicts that keep the mineral flow going. That's the reason he gave money to Ukraine. You know, that's the reason he supported Starlink even when the US government money ran out. And that's the reason the US government money came in to put Starlink in Ukraine to begin with. Because all of these things are intertwined, and Elon Musk relies on the state and wants the state to continue and grow so that his empire can be maintained. Fuck Elon Musk. And then recently his whole censorship thing in that video I posted about it, and all of the other problems with Elon Musk, not the least of which is that he supports bigotry because the elites love them a divide and conquer, and he's totally fine with inciting those in order to keep us all fighting each other at the ground level and not actually doing anything to smash the fucking state. That's the reality. You know, sucks if it like bursts a bubble, but that's true. Elon shouldn't establish a colony. Elon should lose everything. Jack says he is a technocrat and he wants to build his own ANCAP Elonistan on another planet. Yeah, which is why I'm totally, totally cool on supporting that. Like, fuck that. Holy shit. I don't like how he runs Twitter, much less how he would run a Mars colony. Valor said the world needs God. Jester says I'm Greek Orthodox myself. Valor, that's so cool. I love meeting new Orthodox people. I'm Greek Orthodox too. Jester says you don't find them too often. It's always a pleasant surprise to meet someone else who is Orthodox. She says, oh, are you in the metropolis of Denver? Valor says, yeah, I'm in California. Jester says, I'm in Texas. Valor says, what Orthodox churches do you recommend? So I guess we'll get a follow-up on that shortly. Next comment. Bastard Chris says, that's a mighty empty bulletin board. What kind of conspiracy theorist are you? Excellent question. I'll be actually putting stuff on that for some of my Hate with Harding content. So you'll be able to see that fill up. Thumb and a heart, though. Jester says, in Texas, I would recommend my church, St. Sophia. That church is my home. The church in Austin is also very cool. Very cool. Jack says, what hath God wrought on the same video? Thumb and a heart. Cold Highway on that video says, these are the same group of people who will cry all day long about Maduro, Morales, Ortega, Lula, etc., when they ignore that U.S. sticking their noses down these causes them to lose power. as Scott Horton has said, these types of leaders get into power because they campaign on keeping the gringos out. Yep. Yeah, because somehow people don't like foreign meddling. It's almost like the U.S. would do the same fucking thing if the U.S. was, like, puppeteered by a foreign influence agent, politically speaking. It's almost like that's exactly how the U.S. would respond. You know. On Tryhand, the last vlog stream, Valor says, I can hear you chewing. Muffled ass audio. Well, thumb and a heart on both. On Cartoons, Liars, and Pedo Bunnies, the Riley video. Interesting. Interesting that you would talk about that old a video. AFK Cat says, physical removal, all maps. Agreed. Thumb and a heart. Boog News Network on Gays Against Groomers lied about Leigh Fink, ignored real groomer, vlog 176. I agree. This is also my assessment. Improper analysis from Gays Against Groomers. I also agree that firearm rights are essential to all people, particularly minorities. Thank you for your efforts and accuracy. Thumb and a heart. Ethan Noble says, where's the video you mentioned linking? It should have been in the top of the description. Let me pop this open here. Yeah, it's right there. But I guess I'll link this manually. Oh, thumb and a heart. Reply. It should be in top of description. Here's a link, though. Yeah, I have to hit the spacebar really hard because this keyboard's going out. You know, it's the last thing on my priorities list. I gotta fucking get a keyboard, but right now I gotta get $600 by Friday in order to pay rent and some other expenses. So that's my priority here. So I'll be bashing my spacebar in order to use it. Ryan Howe says, wonder if anyone on Twitter ever read the story of the boy who cried wolf. Like, if people throw around accusations that are false so many times, so many other people are less likely to take similar claims seriously, even when a claim turns out to be true. Yes! And that's exactly what's going to happen here. And if these people actually gave a shit about stopping grooming, then they wouldn't do that, and they would actually talk about groomers instead of just, like, any trans person at all ever. Like, it's so goddamn infuriating, because I've been going against groomers for so fucking long. I've been going against pedos for so fucking long. And I talk about cases that most of these people haven't fucking heard of. Because they don't actually care about stopping groomers. They're just bigots and they're pieces of shit. Fuck. Punk Shock Rock says, thanks for posting this, very eye-opening. The same people decrying grooming on the left completely ignore the Ali Alexander controversy and they defend Andrew Tate. I don't know who Ali Alexander is. I'm gonna write that. IDK who Ali is. Will look into that. Yeah, as soon as I get baseline expenses out of the way, like, you know, probably at least $500, I'm going to be getting a better keyboard. That's on my goal lists. I have a keyboard on my wish list currently, but it's been there for a while, I'll put it that way. Rescind also says on the same video, Good on you for calling this out. Along the same lines, I read part of the Transgender Leviathan, a 40-page report that's being passed around by hysterical parents. On the first page of text, the author cites a study that he claimed said something like 1 in 5 people aged 13 to 17 identifies as transgender today. What? 20%? So I looked at the original source material. It literally didn't say that, but virtually not one of the hundreds of comments pointed out this discrepancy, so I did. Yeah, these people don't give a fucking shit about facts. They just don't like trans people. It's fucking infuriating. Send me your comment there. I'm assuming it's on Twitter. You can just link me your tweet and I'll retweet that. Also calling transgender people Leviathan, holy shit. Imagine being that fragile that you have to consider, like, trans people to be some Leviathan, like it's massive and huge. Like, what the fuck? It's a tactic. It's one of the planks of fascism, according to Umberto something or other. I'm having a hard time remembering it right now, but one of the planks of fascism is that your enemy is simultaneously weak and strong. It's the reason I don't call politicians stupid, because I attribute to malice what can adequately be explained by ignorance. Motherfucker, you are malicious. I will destroy you. That's my fucking stance. Fuck off with this, like, oh, you have to treat them like they're stupid. Because, you know, no way they could be intelligent in making these decisions. No, they want you to think they're stupid so that you don't look behind the curtain they've built. So that you don't think about this too hard. So that you don't stand up for yourself. They're fucking evil. They're malicious. It's not ignorance. Fuck you. I'll probably turn that into a fucking TikTok or Facebook reel or whatever. I'm so sick of that. I'm attributing it to malice, motherfucker. What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna fucking do about it, huh? Huh? Anyway. Long conversation about Catholicism, Orthodox in the chat. But yeah, that was the last comment. And there will be a lot more content this week, I'll tell you that. I got a Hate with Harding all primed up. And my email newsletter, which I'll be using to spread the hate with Harding, because holy shit, there's so much that needs debunking. Either way, if that is it in terms of discussion, I will be calling it relatively soon. But, yeah. Those be the thoughts of the week. Also, Jester, hope you liked your first time on in this chat. This is how it is once a week. I go for at least an hour, and sometimes up to 2. Also, Jester, if you want, Valor is also on the anti-Dan train and could probably help get the message out there once it starts, so you could invite him to some stuff if you wanted. And Rescind, thanks for the consistent support in the financial regard, because yea, though I need more cash this month, you have been one of the reasons that I've gotten to this month. Same with Eek, who didn't show up today. I'm hoping I can help him with his Larkin Rose situation relatively soon, because he needs that money back somehow. Now I just need to earn 600 by Friday. That's the new goal. Once I earn that, I should be able to get a lot of things going. Not the least of which is get some music made, because there's some software I can buy. And Jester, if you want, I can add him to the things. Whether it be the server or the GM. So if that's what if that sounds good, I can just take care of that before ending the stream. But yeah, anyone who helps me, thank you. Because effectively, you know, the signal can only keep going out with that. And like, it's good to know that there are people out there who believe that I've earned a living. You know, and I'm going to I'm gonna, like, with any luck, and with like the perseverance, I think I'm gonna be able to actually crank it up this week and keep it going. And Valor says, well, I wouldn't expect. See, that's one of the things about me. I don't expect kids to help me financially, Valor. I wouldn't ask that of you. Like, the fact that you support the content and keep it, like, thumbed up and shit, that's, like, huge. As far as I'm concerned, that's what I would want from the minors in the audience. I don't want them to, like, you know, not save up or not do things that they want with their money because they're spending it on me. You know? I pretty much exclusively want adults to be the ones supporting me financially. And like, minors can, like, obviously I'm not going to stop it if it happens, unless it's just like huge for no reason and I know that, like, the minor doesn't have it, you know, or something like that. But like, mostly I would rather not form that kind of relationship with my audience where, you know, there are people who are specifically doing it, the money thing, without a whole lot of it. You know, I would want this to not hurt people, or not prevent them from getting their goals. I think you should save up for some stuff. Personally, that's my take. Either way, though, appears to be it for this week, and there are going to be a shit ton more comments next week, because there's going to be a shit ton more content. So with that being said, I'm going to call it, and there's going to be a lot more to do over the coming week. So just keep spreading it around, keep it coming, giving you all these reasons to smash the fucking state. Be well, all.